All right. All right, hey guys, it's Mike here from Coal Region Discontent, and we're here to interview Meghan Beck, who is running for Northumberland County Commissioner here in Pennsylvania. We are in Sunbury. We are at the STEAM Innovations Lab. And, well, like I said, this is Meghan Beck. Meghan, you're running for Northumberland County Commissioner.
That's correct.
What is it that you do right now?
So right now, my primary business is real estate. So I help to manage some apartment and commercial rentals. The Sunbury Market House is part of that. The side business that I have that I just launched about a year ago is the STEAM Innovation Labs, which is where we're at, and that's a makerspace. So a place for a community workshop for people to come in and work on creative activities, woodworking, metalworking, art, different things like that.
Okay, now, you were never in a political spectrum. You were never a politician, never a council member, never anything like that.
No, I tried to stay away from it the best that I could. I actually went for a political science degree. So my degree is in poli-sci, because I do have a passion for it. I've always had a passion for it. But I personally felt I could do more good in the private sector with nonprofits and volunteering. So the past 14 years or 20 years, I've done a lot of volunteering. But I kind of got to a point where I felt like I was beating my head against a wall. Like there were things that I really thought I could help with that I couldn't, just by being in the private sector.
So you're active in the community?
Very, very active, a little too much probably. That's essentially my hobby. I love to work with nonprofits. I'd like to connect people with nonprofits. Revitalization though is my personal passion. So I was with the Buffalo Valley Recreation Authority, which is now, sorry, it was LARA before whenever I was there, and now it's BVRA. And I helped to establish the rail trail up there for a couple years. I was really involved with that. And then whenever I came to Sunbury, I was spending more time in Sunbury, I got involved with Sunbury Revitalization. So I was with them. We helped create a lot of events. I jokingly say we worked like a job. We really felt there was a big group of people very passionate about making good things happen. Like is happening out in the Coal Region too with Sabre and other organizations like that. So. Okay,
so you're currently still active in the community. I know there's some things coming up in Sunbury, kickoff summer, stuff like that.
Yes, absolutely. So like this weekend, I've got to figure out how to balance, doing the political stuff, and we have a cleanup. So it's like get to the cleanup for a little while, help organize that, get there, do what I can, and then get to the political stuff. And then we have the Sunbury Sandwich Stroll on the day of the kickoff celebration. So
I may be there. So you're involved in the community. You're a businesswoman. You own businesses. You run apartments. You do things. What is it that makes you want to get involved in politics? What makes you want to run for Northumberland County Commissioner?
Well, I just think that, my passion is being able to do good for my community. If there's ways I can help uplift my community, I want to do that. And like I said, I was doing that for Sunbury for a lot of years, and I just, I see what's happening with our programs. There's challenges, and over the next 5 years, there's going to be a lot of challenges, and I'd like to be there for that. I want to be there for the community. I want to be able to help uplift us, move us forward. I have some visions. I think outside the box. I love finding elegant solutions to things. How can we find the best solution that's a win-win for everybody?
So, moving forward, say you're elected, do you have a plan? Or not a plan, at least a set of steps or something that you feel like you need to take that can help with, say, either the budget in the county or the prison situation?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. There's a huge laundry list. We did a little bit of, got a lot of those in the debate, definitely. But just to hit a couple high profile topics, things that I've been thinking about and researching for economic development. I do have connections with a lot of the organizations that do economic development in the area. I really want to push hard on how do we move that forward a little bit more quickly, getting some of our brown fields reutilized. I have worked a lot with grants in the past. I'm looking forward to helping move that along more quickly if we can, maybe a more variety of grants. I understand though, there's a lot going on at the county right now that I think is putting us in the right direction. They have really good staff on board in a lot of the departments. And, you know, yeah, they aren't robust like they need to be. We don't have the amount of people we need, but the people we have, I believe, really care, and they're working hard. And I think they have a good culture at the moment. I'd like to help maintain that, keep building that forward.
Because I do know a lot of my viewers stress and ask about the fact that our county prison, out of all the surrounding county prisons, doesn't have a work release program or a way for people that are recently incarcerated to reintegrate themselves into society.
Yeah, I would say that sounds like a growing pain. There had been a work release program whenever the prison was here in Sunbury, and it does sound like they're working towards implementing that out there. There are a few more logistics issues with implementing it out in Cole Township, but I think it can totally happen. We just have to get the staffing partially. That's the biggest problem, so that it can be done safely.
Okay. Now, is there anything that's going on in politics with the county, with the commissioners, with anything that's going on that you feel either needs improvement, needs change, or needs something added to it?
Sure. I think mostly it's the vision aspect. I think the past few years have been stable, but you know, okay, we've had some stability. Now it's time to take some steps forward. Like I said, I feel like I have a vision for like where we can go with some good things. Economic development. I think we can help support our communities and our volunteers and build more community pride in our region. You know, it doesn't take a lot we have an army of volunteers. We have such amazing volunteers out in our region. It's just how do we support them a little bit better? There's a potential of a rail trail. We need to work on transportation. We need to work on our blight reduction. All of those are projects which need some time and attention.
I know I have covered it before about the rail trail, and there's a lot of different opinions about that, especially a lot of the property owners and stuff like that. And I understand their point of view, and I can also understand the tourism fact or the recreation facts behind people being able to do things. I know you said about economic development.
Yep.
What type of I know we need businesses to come here. I know, I'm not sure if that's right on the edge of Northumberland County, but Encina.
That is, yep, that's in Northumberland County, yep.
I mean, that's going to provide, I think they said while building it's going to be almost 300 jobs, but full-time employees over 100 something along those lines.
Yep. I've heard that. I am supportive of that project, but that is also another controversial project. But I think all projects have the opportunity to go bad or go well. So I think all of that goes into the planning. So as I was saying to someone else, Point Township is in the position of being able to make sure that all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed before that plan is implemented. And I think that's really where we need to be taking the time, is making sure that we do that. And same thing, the rail trail, we shouldn't just jump into it and we're gonna do this whole thing at once and we're just gonna railroad over people. No, we can't railroad, that's terrible. You know, we need to be talking to people. How do we find a win-win-win? Is there a way to, you know, not disrupt people's lives any more than we need to and still create this really great amenity? I know whenever I was involved with the Buffalo Valley Rail Trail, we had looked to the Pine Grove Rail Trail, which is in north central PA, and there were a lot of people that were really against it to start, and then afterwards they didn't have the problems that they were worried about. Like, they were worried about the number of people on the trail, they were worried about vandalism or litter, and actually they were so pleasantly surprised that it was nowhere near what they expected. It was a huge amenity without the negatives that they had been concerned about. But it's not just that. I know there's some land ownership issues which need to be addressed. So, you know, I think everything's up in the air. Nothing's a foregone conclusion. I think that does provide some economic development, which would build off of like the AOAA and the economic development happening from that. But I also think, like I've mentioned this before, and everybody knows that I'm an advocate for the community college. I think it has the biggest return on investment of anything that we can potentially implement. You know, so, and I think it would be great for the people of our region, great for our businesses of our region.
And we have spoken about the community college before, and if anybody were to like to see, there is a video about the community college, an interview with Ms. Beck here. And so I know there's everything in the county. A lot of people want change. A lot of people want change, but they don't want to do the change, or they don't want to accept the change. Yeah. Now, when it comes to even with the AOAA, I'm neither here nor there with them. I really doesn't matter to me whether they're there or not. But there's a lot of people that like it, and there's a lot of people that don't. But like I said, it did provide some type of, I mean, some of the businesses, whether they grew or the revenue grew a little bit, and there's also opportunity, like especially with AOA, there's an opportunity there. Say if somebody were to build a hotel with a garage or something right on their land, I mean that could be a business. But okay, so that's the prison, and about economic development. How do we make Northumberland County more invite more businesses in? How do we make them it feel like a business safe type of place?
Well, and I hate to harp on it, but the community college, one of the things that it offers is it can design programs to employers. And so a lot of employers, when they're moving into an area, are looking to see what is the local community college. And we're like, oh, we have a couple site locations, but we don't have like our own robust community college. So that's a drawback. That's, again, something I would love to address if we can make that happen. Other things for making it business friendly is really being ready for when someone is interested. So we have to know what's going on with each one of these properties. I know Drive is, on the cusp of that, trying to make sure they're aware of what's going on with our property, so that when a potential person comes to us and says, we might like to relocate there, that we're ready to, show our best self for them and hopefully bring them in.
Okay.
I do that a lot, by the way. I have commercial real estate. So, I mean, that's part of it. It's like first you have to get the call. You have to be, that place that gets the call. And then once you get the call, it's like, okay, how do you maintain their interest? Make sure that, that it's a good match too. There's businesses we probably don't want, but the ones that we do, the ones that fit our vision for our county, that's who we want. And maybe we want to go after a few of those places too, Is there some sort of higher end technology manufacturer that we could go after? Something like that. I've heard talks of that. People, we're trying to look for that kind of thing aggressively for.
Well, we have a lot of space here, especially out towards Schmogan Town. There's a lot of space out there,
Yes.
And especially like along 54, they're clearing trees and stuff right now for nobody knows what reason, probably just to make profit. But that's going to leave a lot of empty space along a major route that's close to close to Interstate 81. We can bring businesses in here.
Absolutely, and a lot of that goes along with our planning. Planning is something that our townships do, and also it happens at the county level. And planning is what determines where do we put those things so that they aren't invasive to people who are trying to live residentially and those type of things. So those are important things also that the county commissioners would be weighing in on a little bit through the planning commission.
And I can get why people are a little iffy when it comes to new businesses and stuff, certain new businesses.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of people voted when our former governor said casinos and gambling and stuff was going to alleviate some of the property tax and stuff like that. And a lot of people don't feel like they've seen that at all. And now we have things popping up all over the place. And a lot of them are wholesome businesses. A lot of them are good, but a lot of them allow different types of crowds of people there to congregate, and then trouble starts, and that's what people worry about.
Yeah.
Now you're running on the Democratic ticket.
Yes, I am.
Correct. Now, just today, an article or a sound off in the paper wrote about how you had endorsed Joe Claiborne and Sam Chickatana, which are the current commissioners right now.
Yes.
They're current Republican commissioners.
Yes.
And they had addressed the fact that you endorsed them and said that you are turning your back on your party because of endorsing them. I mean, any response to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I did think about that a lot before I did it. And what the conclusion I came to is that this is the primaries. They said that I was endorsing a Republican majority, which is not really what I was doing. I feel that they have done a good job, and that of the Republicans there, the Republicans who are going to the polls for Tuesday at the primary will have 2 votes to vote for the Republicans. And I feel that those are the 2 best Republicans on the ticket, and I think they've been doing a good job. So I want to give them props for that. Democrats can't vote for Republicans at the primary, and Republicans can't vote for Democrats. So therefore, it was no harm to any Democrats that are running. Both myself and the other Democrat who are running should both get through to the fall. I don't see how that would not happen. We're both got our petitions in, and we should be able to get through. So I'm not sure why I'm being attacked exactly. Obviously, somebody feels threatened by me and is really coming after me hard over this, and where I don't necessarily understand it. I don't know if they don't understand how the primary works, or if they were trying to accuse me of confusing the public, but I feel like that's what they're doing, because in the primaries, that's not how it works.
Well, I also believe that nobody, 100%, I believe this deep down, that nobody should walk in lockstep with anybody just because of party affiliation to begin with.
Right.
So if you think somebody's better at the job, or you think this is the best candidate, why can't you voice that without saying that you're turning your back, like you're not going to speak for your constituents?
Right.
I mean, you obviously have talking points. You obviously have campaign slogans, campaign promises, things like that. And I think if they believe that you'll stick to them, they should still support you if you support another candidate.
Yeah, I mean, would I love to see a Democratic majority in the county? That would be wonderful. But it's just unlikely with the way that the spread is in voters registered per party. And so that's why I said my Republican friends. I have a lot of Republican friends. I am a moderate. And I think this partisanship is complete nonsense. I always say I'm here to represent the 90% of the people in the middle. Yes, there are people that have fringe beliefs on both ends of the spectrum. But I think most of us can know that we want to get to the same place, and how do we get there? And we both just need to bring our differing ideas of how to get there to the table, so we get the best solution.
Well, I obviously with larger governments, federal governments, state governments and stuff, we see a lot of polarization. But on a more local level, like a county commissioner or council members or anything like that, to say, even in our small area, we don't have big cities. We don't have like Philadelphia. We don't have Pittsburgh, where the polarization would really makes a difference.
Right.
So around here, it's about working together, because around here, the area is, it's not the poorest area, but it's not exactly a thriving area, and people should try to work together to make it a thriving area.
Absolutely. We're all in this together. I really feel that, you have an opportunity locally to really get to know who your representatives are. And I don't see any reason not to vote for someone of the opposite party if you believe that they are the best person for the job. But at this moment in the primaries, you can't actually do that. With school board and MDJ, they are cross-filed, which is a little bit of a different thing. So you can vote Dem or Republican, but commissioners have to run by their party. So we can't vote for each other in the primaries. In the fall, who knows what the field will look like for county commissioners in the fall. We could have independents or third-party people running. As a matter of fact, I think the person attacking me in the newspaper is a libertarian. So,
Well, and they don't really fall in with either side technically.
No, they do their own thing. They're on their own step.
Yeah, and I believe a lot of their points. They got a lot of good points. Just like even Republicans have a lot of good points, and Democrats some of them have a lot of good points. It's you pick and choose, and it's to choose what outweighs what.
Exactly.
So somebody might like what you have to say, but might like the plan of somebody else that's more,
Yes.
And they want to vote for you, but they can only cast one,
Right, and they have a really important issue to them, and they're going to vote based on that issue. I totally respect that.
So the only other things that are hot topic issues in the county that a lot of people are talking about is the 911 center.
Yeah.
That's been an issue for a while, and it's not just one issue. It's not just the main one that people are talking about. There's been other issues, because I have personally gotten messages about, you should look into this because there's a problem here, and I get it. Maybe there's a learning curve. Maybe there's not proper training, something, and it's something we could look into. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think that's exactly what we need to do. Whenever these flags get brought up, somebody throws a flag up and says, hey, something bad happened, or something isn't working the way that it should. We have to be looking at that. And then once you look at it, you create a plan for how do we get out of that situation. I think like I said, I think the culture in a lot of our departments is good. That one, it sounds like there's still some work to go. You know, how do we get the right people in the right places there? And, you know, if we have the right people, what are we missing? What is it, the equipment? Is there, you know, a faulty system that's causing a problem? You know, it's getting down to that root cause. What are the root causes? And, you know, how do we move forward so that something like what happened a couple months ago never happens again?
Yeah, absolutely. That was tragic what happened, and I can understand both sides of that story, but a plan of action is needed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not something that can just be, you can't just wing it.
No, absolutely. Like whenever I actually did work for a national company at one point in a compliance department, you know, and that was key. What your key point is, what you're doing is you're trying to investigate your own company to find out what happened. How do we prevent, you know, how do we take care of the issue, the initial issue, and then how do we prevent it from happening again? You know, so that's what you have to do over and above every one of these departments. You know, that just has to be the instant reaction. Don't blame people. Don't get in people's faces. Don't just fire everybody. You know, you have to say, all right, what happened? How do we get to the root causes and make sure it doesn't happen again?
Well, there's not going to be a solves all solution. It's not just going to happen overnight, and it's not one thing that can happen. It's going to be multiple things, and there's probably going to be some hard decisions that have to be made, but those type of things are important, especially when it's citizens feeling secure in the fact that when they call 911 or text, because you can text in most places, and you that somebody's going to show up in a time, and volunteers, and the volunteers get blamed too. It's not the volunteers' fault that if they got sent to the wrong place, or if they, you know, were given wrong information.
Right, absolutely.
So, but I mean, if there's anything else that you would like to add right now, I mean, I try to give a platform to any candidate. I try to stay as neutral as possible. Like I said, I've been, people don't really know my politics. Some people might, but I try not to, I don't get biased with it, but I believe that everybody should have an educated choice when they go to the ballot box. And I believe every candidate should have a platform to speak on. And whether my followers and stuff, it helps people or doesn't help them, at least the information is there. So if you have anything you would like to add, right now would be the time.
Okay, well, I just want to say, I do hope that any Democrats out there, if you vote for me next Tuesday, I would appreciate that. I think but also, more importantly, I think government, getting out to the vote is very important. In the primaries, there is actually a special election happening in Western Northumberland County and Montour County. So if you're in that area and you're an independent or third party, you can vote in this primary. So please do get out the vote. You know, it's important whenever you can participate in the process, please get out there and do it, because, you know, it's everyone participating in that makes it a better process, making sure that we're having these conversations so the public can know who people are and make an educated vote.
Absolutely, and I believe that that's something that we lost when it came to community, when it comes to politicians. We lost the conversation aspect. And I also believe that if you don't vote, you can't complain. So
I've heard that a lot.
if you guys could, share the video so the information gets out there. Remember to like, it shakes up the algorithm, it keeps putting the stuff in the feed. And thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you very much.